Welcome to the International Association of Fire Chiefs Volunteer and Combination Officer Section weekly webinar series. This week, we're going to talk about exit interviews. I will tell you that if I go off camera, it's not your camera, it might be my connection. So if we have a connection problem, I will go off camera, but I don't have much to say here today. So we'll get right into this so we can get to going and you all can get learning. We have over 60 people registered for the program today, so pretty excited about that. So we use audio. Uh, the audio is using voice over IP technology, and so if you have problems, email webinars@ifc.org or go in the chat room, and we'll try to help you out in the chat room. I will tell you if your computer locks up, log out, log right back in. We've had that happen numerous times, and with the weather going through this country today, who knows what will happen with the internet. So uh, you will see the chat and question and answer menus in the upper right hand corner of your screen. We encourage you to use the question and answers and the chat session. Ask Kobe some questions about what he's going to talk about, and we will provide you some resource materials that will be in the link that you can download. So, what's the VCOS doing? For many of you who have attended our webinars before, this is a repeat of all the things we've talked about before. So, I'm not going to repeat that kind of stuff because you all can read. But Symposium in the Sun is a big deal for us in 2023 or 2024. We will be back in Clearwater Beach at the Hilton Resort in November. So, we encourage you to do that. And those are some of the other things that we're doing on behalf of you, the members of the VCOS. We do write many ribbon reports that hopefully help you as a officer, not just a chief, but as an officer, help you to manage your fire department better. So, what's coming up? Next week, we have when a firefighter dies beyond the dollars and cents. And it's like, why do firefighters die? We have John Tippett, who's been involved with the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, Charleston, South Carolina, and Montgomery County, Maryland. And he's had to deal with a lot of firefighter deaths. So we encourage you to look at that. And then April 16th, that topic will change, but we're going to have a discussion on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So our presenter today is Kobe Cagle. I met him by accident, as I do many people, at a workshop for the Volunteer Workforce Solutions Program. And Kobe is a volunteer fire chief. He is a presenter. He is a principal. And so he has a lot of experience with hiring and firing and people leaving jobs. And so, whenever something came up, this is part of the reports that Volunteer Workforce Solutions doing. I said, "Hey, Kobe, how about doing this exit interviews for us?" So, with that, Kobe, it's all yours. Break a leg.
Thank you, Chief Bugman. Everybody's favorite topic, right? HR type stuff. So um, here's my contact information. There's another slide later on in for it, but glad to be here with everybody. Just a little bit about me. Been in education 17 plus years, 21 years as a volunteer firefighter, fire chief. Do a lot of trainings with the different organizations. Certified life coach, mentor, project manager. Some of my bigger accomplishments as a father and a grandfather. I've worked for IAFC. I've been on 3 different volunteer fire departments, and then I got to do a little bit of touring and to kind of go in and break down some fire departments, volunteer combination, and kind of see what we can do to help them a little bit. So, got the puppet show. That's one of my favorite things is fire and life safety prevention. So for today, just a brief outline. Since you're with an educator today. I'm the principal and superintendent here at Coyle. So we're in the middle of school, in the middle of a bond election today. So it's an exciting day for us. But for outline today, we'll talk about the purpose of exit interviews. Broke down the best practices into 5 different areas. Kind of follows that science background of these are the steps to go through to do it correctly. And we'll kind of break those down. Some clues. You guys, not the first time you've heard about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then I've given you sample questions in 4 different areas: introduction, leadership, culture, and then kind of a wrap up. My expectations for today, if you have questions, please ask them. Put them in the chat, shoot me an email, call me later on. My phone number's on here too. Just know that This is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a little bit of work, and as you go through there, you're going to find roadblocks. And please reach out. If there's something we can do, be glad to help you out. Actually, enjoy doing it. So, purpose of exit interviews. It is the number one indicator of our retention. Okay. Usually, if you're a company officer, you're usually the last person to know about issues, problems, things like that. Especially the smaller things. We don't know about them until they're fully blown up and almost out of control. So this gives you an in-depth look at your retention as you go through exit interviews. It measures your culture, values, and your core principles. A lot of times, people don't leave departments. People are always going to leave departments. They're going to retire. They're going to move. Life's going to happen. But sometimes when they leave and those aren't the cases, then there's a conflict in there. It may be with their values, their personal values. It may be the core principles of the department. May it be the direction that the ship is going at that point. So this gives you a true measure of that. And to make sure that you're actually painting the picture that you put on your wall. What are your department's values, cultures, and principles? Are you living those every day? And if you're not, people aren't going to stay around. Gives you good qualitative data. We can look at the quantitative data all day long, but this gives you quality data that breaks down the reasons of the why, the answer of why. Why are people leaving? Okay, is it time? There's a million things out there that'll cause people to leave, but this kind of gives you that inside deal. It also breaks down to that emotional intelligence aspect of what people are needing or what people are getting out of your department. And those soft skills, those people skills, those are the things that we sometimes struggle with within our fire department. So gives you that inside look at those to make sure that we're hitting the mark or painting a picture of an environment that we really want. Gives you that insight to the issues and problems. Okay. And that leadership. We're always going to have issues. We're always going to have problems. You can go into any firehouse in the country, even the best of the best. They still got issues and problems, but the thing that sets them apart is they have the leadership to make those issues and problems disappear. Do you have the right people at the wheel? Do you have the right people leading this department into the future? If you can fix those, it helps you with your recruitment. Okay, we've all heard that phrase. Tell a firefighter or telephone, telegraph, tell a firefighter. If you have people leaving your fire department, they're telling those people that are wanting to join your fire department because they're going to run in similar circles. So you've got to make sure that you're controlling your story. Put this quote down here: identify what your story is. What is your story within your town? If your department had a Google review out there right now, what does it say? Okay. You're always going to have some negative feedback. It's just the business that we're in. We're in public service. It's going to happen no matter what you're doing, whether it's education like me, whether it's a volunteer fire service, whether it's a career service. You're always going to have that. But make sure that you're controlling your story the way it needs to be controlled. Okay, best practices on setting the stage. We all do pre-incident plans. It's just part of what we do. We've been trained to do it. Why do we do that? Well, the whole reason we do that is it kind of gives us an idea of what issues may arise, what problems are going to occur, staffing needs, where our resources are, where we're going to be at. Same thing. We have a pre-incident plan. We have an incident. After the incident, hopefully during the incident, we're getting the resources and things like that we planned for, and we're getting it done the way we thought we would attack this. And then afterwards, we do a post-incident critique or plan. That's usually how we do a lot of things in the fire service. It's circular. We do it before, we do it after. Same thing with kind of bringing new people in. Most of us do an entrance interview or an exam of some sort. Hopefully during that time, we're figuring out what resources this person's going to need, where they're going to need to be supported, what their probability of going forward is going to look like, we can kind of look into that during an entrance interview or an exam. Okay, they're on the department. Are we giving them the support they need? Are we doing the job that we thought we were going to need when we interviewed them and brought them on? And are we getting out of them what we thought we were going to? Then we do an exit interview, and it kind of closes that circle back. Did we do the things that you were expecting? Did you do the things that we were expecting? Kind of gives that circular motion there, which is always a good thing. So gives you an opportunity to develop strategies and plans with people, not just resources, before things get too far out of hand. All right, before exit interviews, communication is the key. You've got to have good communication. People are going to be nervous about this because it's scary, it's different, it's change. They're going to want to know why we're doing this. The whole easy answer for that is we want to get better. We're doing exit interviews because we want to get better. Not everything's going to go perfectly with everybody's experience through the fire department. We want to figure out what we're doing good, what we're doing bad, and we want to do better. We want to outline our expectations. We've got to be open and honest with what this is. We need people to be open and honest with their thoughts, their feelings, their expectations, and give good feedback. If we're not getting good feedback, then we're going to struggle in doing a good job with our exit interviews, and it's going to kind of be a waste of time. Be transparent. You know, this should mean something. Think of this not as a out the door as you leave type of interview. This is more of a graduation. Did we help set you up for whatever you're going to do in the future? Maybe you're leaving to go to school. Did we help you get there? This is an opportunity for us to celebrate what they've given to the department and to the town, and also what all maybe they've learned, and put that positive spin on it instead of a awkward, we're going to sit in a room and I'm going to drill you with questions type thing. So be transparent. Just tell them we're looking to do better. We want to be better for this. Okay. Set up your questions, your surveys, and conductors. You've got to be ready for this. This is not a last minute deal. Oh yeah, today's your last day. Let's go do an exit interview. This has got to be something that you're prepared for. Your questions, don't bring in a whole list of written out questions. That's just a scary tactic right there. Same thing you guys have probably learned in interviewing people. If you can keep it conversational, the conversation will take you to what you need to know and what they want you to know. If you have direct questions, then you usually get into a yes or no or a very timid response. So set your questions. Who's going to do this? It needs to not be somebody that is super close to the fire department always. Okay? Having somebody from the outside is a lot of help, because if there are internal departmental issues, they're not going to be as forthcoming, especially if you're a chief officer. I've done these for other fire departments when we were able to tour around and break into some volunteer departments. We went through and I called everybody that left that department in the last 4 years. I learned a lot more than what that chief knew, just because I was an outsider. And I kept it conversational, and I let them take me what they wanted to really tell me. So figure out who your conductor is. Know what you're going to do with your information once you get it. Okay? How are you going to document this? There always needs to be something that you need to figure out what you want to do with it and what you want to gain out of it. What are your actionable items? Okay? And then push them up. Figure out. Let your staff know kind of how that interview went. So have a plan for your interview and what you're going to do with that information once you're done. And then you're going to share it with your whole department. Make this a new norm. Okay? This is a proactive approach and not a reactive approach. People are going to be nervous about it just because it is different, but it'll only be different until it's normal and it's accepted. And sometimes that takes a little bit more time. Okay, during your interviews, the neutral site, if you hold it in the fire station, you're going to get controlled, timid answers. Let the interviewee or whoever you're conducting this interview for, let them choose that venue. Okay. Maybe it's a coffee shop, maybe it's sitting out on the tailgate of the pickup, but let them have that opportunity to choose that because that gives them control. That gives them the first control over the conversation. And that's a big control deal there. It puts them at ease, allows them to kind of pick that. Allow them to kind of pick a time too. What works best for them. Don't try to fit this in. Okay. Make sure that you have allow them a little bit of control over what they're doing. Like I said earlier, have someone outside your agency conduct the interview. Maybe it's a city employee. If it's a former department member, have them be removed 4 or 5 years so that they don't know everything that goes on in that department. Maybe it was someone that retired that's we still want to have around and help bring us, that helps out the department, but it's not just an active member, a daily active member. Maybe they're a great fit for this because they can kind of relate a little bit. But if it's the fire chief that you let go of 6 months ago, they don't need to be doing this. Okay, separate jurisdictions, another thing. Just sometimes a complete stranger, somebody that you can say, here's the things I really would like to know about my department. If you can work these questions in. Keep it conversational. Active listening is a huge thing. Kind of goes back to that whole mentor and life coach type stuff. Make sure that you're reiterating exactly what they're telling you. Okay. Restate their questions, restate their purposes. Make sure that you're actively listening and not just listening for key things. Set a time limit. Okay. 30, 45 minutes. After that, you start talking circles or telling stories. There's nothing wrong with that, but try to keep this down to a time because at the end of this, you're going to have to maybe possibly circle back, follow up, document. So setting that time limit keeps that amount of information that you're trying to get into a manageable type thing. Say please and thank you. So just that small, that soft skill. Tell them thank you for their time. Tell them thank you for their service, their past service. Um, you know, Ask them how you can get them going forward. You want them to leave that exit interview on a good note, happy about your department, and feel like they've been heard. And that's kind of what this will help you do. And if you need to set a follow up, circle back. I usually do a follow up question. I'll just be like, okay, I'm going to check on this. I'm going to circle back with you on next Tuesday, just a quick phone call. But it also gives you an opportunity to verify any questions you had in your notes as you tried to go through and document this, any action items to make sure that you had it down correctly. And then any other questions if you have those as you go through. Okay, after you want to write a brief summary, something that you can put in their file. It's similar to like a resignation letter, but it's more detailed. It tells you their true thoughts, true feelings, true emotions that went on with this. It kind of gives you an opportunity to put things into perspective as you go through. Okay. One thing I like to do is I usually try to get them to talk a little bit about positive things that went on with them or people that maybe they've interacted with. It could be a neighboring department, it could be somebody within their department. And take those appreciations and share those with the rest of your group. You want to make sure that people aren't afraid of just what all comes after a exit interview. I've got the picture of the carrot or the stick. Well, if all you do is try to go in there and solve issues right after you do an exit interview or come up with problems or chastise people for not letting you know, or it becomes a negative context really quick. So you want to try to make sure that you're bringing that positive spin on these of, this was a great experience. They really liked X, Y, and Z. They like being with you guys. One of the last questions, one of the last things I write down in a brief are, what are the things we can do better? Just kind of make a bulleted list. These are the things after talking with this person that we can do better. We can always improve. If we're not focusing on what we can do better, then we're going the other direction. And that's not the direction we want to try to take our stuff. Okay, follow up. Make plans to apply our new knowledge. We have these action items. We have hopefully found out some things that we can improve on. We found out some things that went really well during this experience. How are we going to apply that? And this may be something that's done in a company officer meeting, or just a meeting with your staff, or just even a departmental meeting of here's kind of some things that we found out over the last couple of exit interviews that we want to try to apply, or that we want to kind of change up, or what are your guys' thoughts on this? Do you kind of feel the same way? You got to be careful on that, because if you find out something that you really want to change drastically, you want to make sure that someone's not able to point the finger at just one person. Oh, well, they did their exit interview and they're the only person that's done an exit interview in the last 4 months, so that must be where this came from. You've got to be careful and make sure that you're managing that a little bit. Circle back if you need to. Like I said, I always try to leave something to circle back with. Nothing else, just to kind of thank them for their time and clarify any notes that I may need. And don't overreact. If you find out some really questionable or rough stuff, issues or problems, you can't overreact and make it blow up, because that shines a light on the person that just left, and that's the last thing you really want to do, especially if it comes down to an HR issue or a leadership issue, because you're going to end up alienate somebody, or you're going to have that whole, well, they don't even work here anymore type mentality. So you kind of have to watch that just a little bit. Clues to listen to. I was fortunate enough to help work on this guide for creating diverse and inclusive to fire departments. That was a fun experience with some really talented people, and I was felt good about that. And a lot of this comes from that publication. Listen for those action items or phrases. Okay, if people are saying that there's a lack of communication, that's something to kind of drill down into. Okay, was it a lack of communication, or was it a lack of communication that you needed? Was it the lack of communication method that you truly wanted? Some people want handwritten notes. Some people want to put on a Facebook bulletin board, or whatever. What was the lack of communication? Maybe it's a lack of communication on training. If that's the case, there's an issue there, because that's a little bit more of a serious nature. So you've got to drill down on what is the lack of communication. If just a blanket lack of communication doesn't work very well. Didn't feel included. This inclusion piece, this is a generational thing too. Sometimes, used to, when I was growing up, if I didn't feel included, then I found a group that I felt included in. It's not necessarily the case anymore. We're dealing with different people, different mentality, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Okay, but if they're not feeling included, why are they not feeling included? Lack support. Okay, this kind of comes down to an overall department culture. Okay, it may be a leadership. You're lacking support from leadership, lacking support from whatever. If you're lacking support from the community, then you have another bigger issue. That gross feeling, uh, that's another generational thing. Icky, gross. Uh, those are things that you need to investigate a little bit further, because there's going to be an underlining reason for them to say that. Not a good fit, don't belong. This is the one that we really want to watch out for. This is something that, um, if we're getting this, then either we have a cultural or environment issue, or we're not doing a good enough job in our entrance interviews or exams. If people feel like they don't fit or don't belong, they need to know up front exactly what they're coming into. And sometimes we have a tendency to paint the rosy picture of it, and not the true picture of what they're getting into training wise, and what that first couple of years are going to look like, trying to get into the firefighting part of it. Okay, kind of break up into sample questions. Okay, sample questions on here.
John,
Introduction. Well, why'd you join our fire department? Okay, that's just a good introductory question to kick off our exit interviews. Why did you join it? Follow-up question is it what you thought it may be? And why or why not? If we painted the wrong picture coming into it, that's something we need to correct. So we need to make sure that we're doing a good job on that. These are things that we can find out in our exit interview. If they came in because they wanted to help the community, they had that passion, they had that almost canned answer that you would expect to hear, what changed from there to now? And why are they exiting? If you had it to do all over again, would you join? And in a conversation, that question will get you a lot of different answers. If you're sitting there with a check sheet of questions, then that's going to be a yes or no. And it's going to be hard to kind of pull that out. So that's got to be something that you can kind of pull into just a conversation. Sample questions on leadership. Okay. Did you feel like your expectations were shared with you reasonably? Okay. This all comes back to communication. Is our leadership communicating correctly with those members that within the department that are relying on it? If they're not, and anybody that has that lost feeling is not going to be lost for very long. There's other things they can do. This is a good opportunity to kind of find out, are we outlining expectations, and are they manageable expectations, or are they unrealistic expectations? Were you supported in your growth and training within our department? Well, that's one that we've got to kind of watch, because if we're not supporting people and we're not helping them go where they want to go, hopefully you've got more than one pathway within your department for incoming people. The bigger the department, usually the more resources you have, the more paths that you have. Smaller volunteer departments, I've had experience with those single station, we've got 12 to 15 people. Everybody's kind of got to do everything. So there's not a lot of different ways to go. But as you get a little bit bigger, are we helping you get where you want to go? Because if it's not something you want to do, you're not passionate about, that's going to be an issue. This is kind of a question I ask my senior kids as they start graduation here. We've been doing exit interviews of seniors for the last couple of weeks, and got a few more to go. But if you were chief for the week, or in my case, if you were superintendent for the week, what are the 3 things that you would fix or correct? Usually, I know on our high school seniors, I usually get some really interesting answers. Some are legit, some are kind of fun, but it kind of tells you where somebody's head's at a little bit. Kind of tells you what their expectations were and where they met the way we were hoping they were going to be. The 3 things, most of the time, the 3 things are: we wanted something else, or we wanted something newer or better. We wanted a little bit better leadership, and communication usually comes up in there as well. Okay. So there's a John Maxwell quote: "The leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." Are we doing that uh, with our staff? And if we're not, we're going to kind of find that out as we go through these exit interviews and ask some of these questions. There's a lot of other questions that you can ask, but like I said, 30, 45 minutes. If you get to going too far on that, you get to drilling down too much, you start losing interest. Culture questions. Okay. How would you describe the culture or environment of the department? Culture and environment are kind of scary words for people. So, might knowing your audience and knowing maybe a little bit of who you're going to interview, know that and kind of tailor that to them. Okay. What are the feelings around the department? What are your feelings around the department? What are others' feelings around the department? It's a little softer, but trying to figure out, are we living our values? If we're not living our values, there's a big problem there. Do you feel like you added to or fit in with the culture? Okay, this is another one of those of, do you fit into the department? Why or why not? And gives you an opportunity to kind of drill down and ask them a little bit of, what do you feel like you added to the department? Okay, I gave a lot of time, gave a lot of service, or I didn't fit in. And here's the reasons why I didn't fit in. Those are some things that we want to try to figure out and get out of this, because those are action items. If one person's having those feelings, others are having those same feelings. So we want to try to find those out, pin them down, and figure out how to overcome those a little bit. What can we do better to align the culture with the mission and values of the department? Okay. Worst thing that can happen is you get to an exit interview and somebody doesn't know what the mission and values of the department are. There's another issue there. It happens all the time. Okay. Make sure that we're sharing that. I know through some of the other things that I've been a part of, through the guide and through Beyond Hoses and Helmets and things like that, mission and values are very important.
Can I have somebody in the Colorado line?
But we got to make sure that we are living those values. Okay. Wrap up. Okay. These are kind of the questions to ask just to kind of wrap up. And as you've gone through here, if you haven't got all of their feelings out or got to the point that you're wanting to get to, this is where you want to get to it. So is there anything you were hoping that we would ask? That's just an interview question that we always throw in. We've been doing a lot of interviews here recently. Is what were you hoping we would ask today? What do you really want to talk about? If you left a Google review of the department today, how would it read? Okay. Better question is if you went in and just something for fun, if you want to try to gauge your culture, your department, or the kind of the environment of your culture, give them all index cards and say, write me a Google review of the department today. Don't put your name on it. Write it up, throw it in the basket, and let's read those and let's see where are we at. And that's just a quick measure. Okay. What would you like for me to share with the group? This kind of gives you an opportunity, or gives them an opportunity, to thank those people that might have helped them along the way, giving them a leg up, or help show them help show them the ropes a little bit. And what are you hoping to have come out of what we discussed today? Okay, this is an opportunity for you to ask them, what action items do you want me to take back and fix? What are you hoping that will change in this department? The whole point is, if they're leaving and it's not because of a medical or retirement deal, they cared about your department enough to join it. Chances are they're probably still going to live in the community in which your department serves. Are you giving them an opportunity to fix that? And they still care about the department. They may be leaving for whatever reasons. They may be mad in leaving. they still care about the department because at some point their life and safety may depend upon it or somebody that they know. So they're going to have action items or they're going to have stuff that they may want to fix. And we want to make sure that we get those out and get that from them. All right, that's the end of my presentation on that. I'd love to have questions on this. I know I kind of flew through some of that at the beginning, but this is an important topic. If we're not doing exit interviews, then someone else is writing our story, because one way or another, the stuff that's really ate people that caused them to leave, it's going to come out somewhere. So you got to make sure that you're getting that information and getting ahead of it and writing your story for your department. So, Chief Buck.
Yep. All right, man. I tell you, Kobe, I was making lots of notes.
You're on mute.
Good thing you couldn't see me because I wasn't watching the screen much. Pardon? Am I still muted? Can you hear me,
I
Kobe?
can't hear you yet. Oh,
Yeah, I can hear you
hear
just
you now.
fine, Chief. Okay.
I had my mic down.
Okay. We do have a question. Do you recommend that the exit interview be recorded?
I don't, because anytime you start recording interviews, it becomes official, and it's always going to live out there. I have recorded them in the past. Your information's going to be, it's going to be more formal. It's going to be very cut and dry, and it's going to be that feeling of, I don't want to be caught in a gotcha here, so I'm going to give you the vanilla version of what I really want to tell you, and I'm going to protect myself and make sure that this doesn't get out later on. I wouldn't suggest it.
All right, great. So, Kobe, have lots of different things here. We do have our friend from Puerto Rico on, Nuno. He said excellent presentation. You talked about, even though they quit, they still want the fire department to be successful. And I thought that's a very important point, that even though they left for whatever reason, they don't want the department to fail because it may impact their family. So I thought that was a great takeaway right there at the end there.
Well, I mean, yeah,
ahead.
we're prideful people. Firefighters are prideful people. We have that personality that we want the best, we want to do the best, we want to be the best, and you don't just walk away from that and not hope for whatever you walked away to be a little bit better because you were there, but also carry forward. And they're going to be members of your community, or somebody they know is going to be a member of your community, even if they're leaving their friends, family, or whoever's staying around. So they want the best for the department. And if you give them that opportunity to share that, a lot of times they'll give you valuable nuggets of things that they would like to see fixed or updated.
The other thing, again, for the old guy on here, ask them if they were to do a Google review, what they would say. And I thought, wow, that is the way today leaders are assassinated. Because somebody goes out and puts something on the internet, and next thing you know, it's the gospel. So I thought that was good, that you could get something out of them about what would you write in a Google review.
Yeah, just having them put it on note cards, or Uber driver, how many stars would you give this fire department, and what would you like to see? And if you kind of look through some of those, and we all do surveys and things like that. I mean, you can't even go to Dollar General or donut shop without asking about customer service. We don't ask that. So this is an opportunity to kind of ask that, give us a chance to gauge where we're at right now. What's our culture? What's our feeling? And do our members, the people that do it every day, do they feel like we're doing a good enough job?
I'm sorry, I got to go back to the interview question.
Yeah.
Because I have a fire chief that was fired last August. We didn't know why he was fired, but it just came out about a month ago. He was fired because he was recording his secretary during meetings. And she found out about it and said it created a hostile work environment.
Okay. Absolutely.
Kind of answer.
One thing that I've started asking in especially my upper management interviews is what's something that um, I'm going to find out. I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell me what I'm going to find out about you, or what's something you're worried that we may find out about you. Kind of gives you an opportunity to. It's amazing what people will tell off on themselves on that, but it's a virtual world, and you're going to find out anyway. I mean, we've had people come in, and it's like, well, I got a DUI, and I'm being investigated by the State Bureau of Investigators. Okay, thanks for coming. But if we're not doing entrance interviews correctly, and we're not getting that information out there that we need to find those support deals, then we're going to be doing an exit interview a lot quicker than what we were hoping for.
Good. So you mentioned about a neutral site, and I believe that is so important that maybe you do it on the fender of your car, out in the parking lot. You drive by their house and you have a conversation with them. So I thought that was again a very good tip. It shouldn't be in your office because that can intimidate people.
Yep.
So, but here's the thing, as you said on the very first slide, that I thought I need to have you explain a little bit more about what is a life coach. I know what a mentor is, but what is a life coach, and how does that impact recruitment and retention?
Well, the biggest thing is, and I tell my teachers this all the time whenever we're doing interviews and stuff, I want you to come in and I want to get everything I can get out of you for the next however many years you want to, but where do you truly want to go? And being able to have that in the back of my mind as I work with them and go through the process with them, I can help them springboard into that. Gives them a great feeling for these people care about me. They care about the reason I'm here. A lot of that's done through active listening, and gives us an opportunity to get 100% out of them while they're there, and then help them go down the road. But they're the ones that are giving us the good Google reviews. They're the ones that are going to help us with recruitment and getting them. It's just that caring. That whole life coach deal is just all about caring, and listening to people and trying to help them figure out what their path is. Because a lot of times people don't know what their path is. Looks like something fun, and I got Monday nights free. I'm going to join the fire department. Okay, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? And let us help you. If you don't know, let us help you create it. And that's how you're going to keep people and keep them from getting stagnant.
Well, I think that you just said it there later at the end of it about you're also showing the teachers, in your case, your teachers and or your firefighters, the current firefighters, that you care about them,
Yep.
and that they are valuable more than just being a teacher or a firefighter.
Yep.
Because you don't want just a teacher, you don't want just a firefighter, you want excellent.
Yep.
Or excellence.
Yep. And then that carries over into your community, and it's that snowball effect, and that changes that whole paradigm shift of what your culture of your fire department is. It's not an entity within your town. It is a culture within your town that is doing good. And the people that come out of that are people that are successful in other things because they were able to get through this training, and that fire department helped them grow their community.
Well, Kobe, I want to thank you for the presentation today. The audience there, you can see his email address, his phone number. He told you to call him.
Yep.
He said he would take your calls. So if you really have a question or you want some just a different opinion, maybe you got some not just exit interview questions, but some questions about running a fire department, a volunteer staff fire department. So give Kobe a call. He has a wealth of resources up in his head and in his heart as well. So
yes, thank you, and I love talking to firefighters. So feel free to call me, email me, or whatever I can do to help you.
All right. Well, again, thank all the attendees who showed up today, and those that will be watching this recorded. You will get a survey. You will get a certificate. So you have a record that you were here. And so we do appreciate everybody's attendance. God bless and take care. Bye-bye.